My practice draws on my love of clay and earth, how it listens, how it seems to know what's inside of me, how it responds. And at first I was really curious about this relationship that I had with clay, that I sort of hid in my studio. And I interviewed a lot of ceramic artists and discovered they had a very similar relationship to clay. And many of them also couldn't explain it or couldn't really make sense of it, because it wasn't common to think of an inanimate material that we could in fact love it and relate to as kin and think that it connected with us inside. So it's that connection that I draw on in my practice to explore whether I can sort of take that connection I have with clay and to see if I can expand that connection and sense of relationship with other materials of the world. I suppose my purpose there is to say, well, can we unwind how we relate to the world as resource for us to use? And we all know how that then relates to the environment and how we live in the world. So I started a practice of clay weaving, where I use raw clay, cotton, and sloppy raw clay, other materials I find like plant materials, and I weave with them. I sort of engage in it as a bit of a ritual, the ritual of how I collect the materials, how I relate with them, how I explore what respect is for each material I find, and finding out their story, and explore how do I have a conversation with different materials. And then also how my works return to the earth. So the works I create are ephemeral and they ultimately return to the earth. As objects like this one that's in the exhibition, it's called Everything Mattering, they are traces of this process. For me, they're interesting because I have a view that if we engage in the world in relationship with the materials, that will be evident in the world that we build. And for me, it's all about creating traces or objects that speak to a world that I would prefer to live in. And I have a view that you can see the caring, the respecting, and the adapting that has gone on in the making process by looking at the objects. So in the context of this Clay Matters exhibition, I see my work as a trial in changing some of our Western ways, a trial or a practice of rewilding how we think about the world, so maybe one day we could live in the world and not treat all of the materials of the world as resources for our use. So I hope you enjoy the exhibition. Thank you.